Team, what is up? It's been a little while, but in between podcasts, we've had a little session going on called the Bowhunters Challenge. This program is a program that I designed for Bowhunters. And we had a fair few men jump on the program, and we had some awesome results. Like the first 12 weeks I went through, first cycle, it was really fun. Got to really know some of the dudes on there, and to be honest, they had some awesome results. Like one of the guys lost over 10 kgs. A lot of the guys just kind of implemented and found a lot of stuff that they can implement into their lives. We had some shift workers. We had some people who were like FIFO who were doing the program. And they just found that there were so many things in the program that they could adapt to their day-to-day life, or things that they could adapt into ongoing life that will help them to just feel better, get better energy, perform better in the mountains when they actually get out and get hunting. And so this gives you guys the chance to actually join in and do the challenge. We are giving away a Ventum, Ventum 33, so Hoyt. This is courteous of Hoyt, but also I'm paying for it, but also Abbey Archery have really hooked me up with getting this kind of set up. And we've got a whole heap of people on board who've jumped in to help out and make it completely hunt ready. So you're going to get a bow, you're going to get the arrows, you're going to get broadheads, you're going to get fill points, you're going to get literally everything. Wrist release, like this bow is set and ready to go. All you guys need to do is sign up for the Bowhunters Challenge. Now, we are launching again. The next 12-week cycle is on the 14th of June is when we're restarting. So what that means is that you have to sign up before the 14th of June. This is the last chances to get in on that challenge. And what that will do is put you in the draw for the bow, for the Ventum bow, the Hoyt Ventum 33. So that is getting released. That will get drawn, on the 30th of June. So this is the last chance for you guys to do this 12-week cycle. I actually don't even know. I will redo the challenge at some point, but this is the last time I'm going to do it in the foreseeable future. So if you're interested in dropping a little bit of winter weight or just keeping more motivated this winter, as well as just improving your general life, your general health, your general fitness, then I'd really recommend the program. There's a lot of stuff that comes with the program, and if you guys have any questions, I think maybe the best thing to do is reach out to me. If not, you can go to bowhunterschallenge.com, or you can jump in via my Instagram page where I've got some stuff on there as well about the challenge. So 14th of June is the next date. If you're umming and ahhing, have a chat to me because I'm not going to just sell it to you. I'm literally going to tell you whether you're a perfect fit or not for it. I do want people who actually give us stuff and who do actually want this to happen for them. It's not just about, it's not a sit there and do nothing program. There actually is a requirement of you to do some stuff to get some results. And the results speak in volumes. You will get some really good results for doing that. So if you guys are interested, like I said, reach out or go to bowhunterschallenge.com. Hey there, and welcome to Becoming a Bowhunter. I'm your host, Matty, and join me and our guests as we take the quality of meat back into our own hands, searching the wild for free-ranged animals to harvest as ethically as we can. I interview a variety of specialists from the bowhunting community to help fast-track your journey as a bowhunter. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this chinwag on one of your favorite topics in the world, bow hunting. Bow hunters, what is up? Welcome back to another episode. This episode, we're with young Kody Mackay, and he has a lot of stories because he is out in the bush all the freaking time. Like, he's 17. Don't let that write him off at all because this dude literally puts down some ridiculously good animals. He's a mixture of, he's a hunter, I think is the best way to say it. He's an outdoorsman. He's a hunter. He's a fisherman. He's into camping. He's into his outdoor adventures in general. But he gets out with his dogs hunting pigs. He gets out with his bow doing a lot of work on all different critters. And yeah, realistically, you can jump across and follow him at Kody.Mackay, with Kody with a K. And yeah, realistically, it's a good little podcast. He's got some good little insights. And I think it shows just how much effort and how much time he's put out in the bush. If you just look at his page or follow along with any of his stories, you'll see these pretty much out every weekend anyway. But yeah, I think just the amount of critters he has down, the quality of critters that he has down is just absolutely incredible. So good little podcast to listen along to. And also I'd really recommend jumping across and following him on socials because he puts up stories literally every week. It's kind of like if you're ever looking for someone good to follow and follow their content, I think he puts out some really decent stuff. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Bowhunter. Sitting here today with Kody Mackay. Kody, welcome, dude.
How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, man. So, I mean, I've actually been following you pretty much since I started my journey of bow hunting, so a good few years, but I don't think I've seen anyone else get out as much as you and get as many critters down as what you do. Like, you are out what seems like 52 weekends of the year. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, mate, you're just about right.
And so how old are you, dude?
Just turned 17.
I thought that might be the case. And so pretty much like you hunt deer, you hunt goats, you hunt pigs, you do a mixture of both dogging as well as getting out with the bow. Do you ever get out with a rifle as well?
Mate, I do a little bit, but not as much as I do with the bow and the dogs.
Yeah, okay. And whereabouts are you? You New South Wales based?
I'm just out of Canberra at the moment.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and so pretty much... Like, I mean, it looks like you've just got... Do you live on a property yourself?
Nah, not at the moment, I don't.
Okay, and so you've just got good access?
Yeah, I've got a few mates around town that own properties and that, and I usually go out to their places hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So how long have you actually been bow hunting for?
2017 is when I first ever went out bow hunting with a good mate of mine from Newcastle.
Okay, and what kind of happened? He just gave you a bow and said go for it, or what?
No, well, I actually went out with him. I was cameraman for the hunt, and we were hunting fallow deer.
Yep.
And I remember we spotted a young buck, and he's put a stalk on, and he's got into about 40 meters, and he's taken the shot, and we've blood trailed it for about 100 meters, and we lost the blood trail in the thick timber. And ever since that day, I've been hooked on it.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. And so you'd obviously been hunting previous to that then?
Yeah.
What sort of stuff? Like, you grew up always dogging, or what? Is that a recent thing as well?
I grew up with my dad, like, from when I was really young. He was in the game meat industry, like shooting roos and shooting pigs for the chillers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go out with him, like, through the week and that. And, he'd go box some roos and pigs, and I just basically did it from day one.
Dude, that's crazy. And so with your dad having been a game meat dude, did you guys ever eat that stuff growing up, or not really?
Not really, not really. Was
he against it?
No, he just didn't. I think it's just because he sort of did it for so long and he processed so much of it, just wasn't his thing, you know?
Yeah. And so what's the deal? Yeah. He sends out kangaroos, like a lot of the kangaroo meat goes to Australia, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it back in the... Like, when he was doing it in the early 2000s, a lot of the pork used to go to Europe, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm pretty sure a lot of the pork, I don't know about now, but I'm pretty sure it still does. There's only been one place in Australia that I've actually ever seen wild boar for sale, and that was a local butcher that I've actually got here. But outside of that, like, I don't know, you often see things like emu or crocodile or something like that, depending on the butchers that you're going to, just usually in the frozen section, but... Outside of that, you don't really often see wild boar. Kangaroos, obviously, it's in woolies and everything now. So I think a lot of the kangaroos are just getting filtered through Australia still now.
Yeah, that's it.
So tell us about, like, what do you kind of prefer to do? Do you prefer to go out dogging? Do you prefer to go out bow hunting? Obviously, they're the same thing but very different, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I honestly can't choose between them. That's why I try and mix it up as much as I can. I sort of like... One weekend I'll go out with the bow, and then the next I'll go out with the dogs.
Mm-hmm. I've never gone out dogging, but I feel like it would just be a pretty ridiculous adrenaline rush whilst it's all happening.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially like when like you've trained your dog and like watch it progress through the years and like how the dogs work and that. Like they use their nose to track pigs down and that. It's pretty cool.
So how do you go about actually training a dog? What's the process you do for that?
Well, I like to get if I get a dog, I like to have it from a pup. So when it's from like really young.
Yeah.
And I like to firstly just train it off like in the backyard, house manners and all that sort of stuff, and like get to know its owner and good with like other people and other dogs.
Yeah.
And then once it sort of gets to a certain age, most dogs sort of like they mature at different ages. But whenever they're ready, I like to take them out in the bush and do a lot of walking, so they get used to like the scents, and then you can stock proof them and that, like so they know what to chase and what not to chase.
Yep.
Yeah, and then from there, basically, like makes it a lot easier if you can hunt them with an already experienced dog.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so pretty much like you said, a mature dog. How do you know when a dog's actually mature enough? Like it
Well,
pretty much.
Usually it's just got a lot to do with their character and the way they sort of act. And
So
like
they're actually coming to your calls and whatever else.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then, so in regards to walking them through the bush, are you actually, like, if you come across anything, do you let them go and chase it, or what's the go there?
Yeah, of course. Well, if it's a roo, obviously I'll tell them no. But if it's a pig, I'll definitely get them onto it and that, and like run them on and make sure they know that's the right thing to chase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you stop them from chasing, say, cattle or something like that?
Well, usually, as I said, like once you know they're ready, like they'll come back to your calls when you call them. So if they go to chase a cow or something like that, even before they even chase it, you'll see them. They'll look at it.
Yep.
Then you'll tell them no straight away, and then they just sort of like listen to you.
Yeah. Okay. So as soon as their ears kind of peck up or their tail goes,
exactly.
You're like on them.
Yeah, exactly right.
And so, like, before that, what are the commands you like to use with your dogs before you even get to that stage? Like, you just doing basics like come back or heel or something like that just to get back?
Yeah, well, I usually do I've got like two whistles, like one's sort of to come, and then one's to go, and then just basics like come here and respond to their name, and like I use hand signals as well.
Yeah.
And they sort of, if they're at a distance and you're saying something, they can see your hand going up in the air in a certain way. They know what it sort of means.
Yeah. Okay. And so what, you're out in the fields kind of practicing that before you even take them out wide?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And so being in Canberra, do you have all your dogs with you there?
Yeah, I've actually got, because I'm in a townhouse at the moment with my mum, I've got two in the backyard. Then one of my mates, he lives at the horse stables, like at a race course. And I've got a couple there too.
And so how do you find that with you not actually having access to those dogs all the time? They're still just as obedient to you as always? Yeah,
they are, because I go over there every arvo and I take them out for a run down a dirt road and that, and then, just spend time with them as much as I can.
Yeah, okay. And so is there any signs that a dog will give you that it's going to be a good pig dog versus not?
Well, yeah, sometimes they've just got a natural instinct to hunt, and then sometimes I've known dogs to not really click until they're nearly sometimes 2 years old.
Yeah, okay.
It's weird.
And is there a breed that you like best? Like, you've got a fair mix, don't you? You've got some big boys and some smaller ones.
Yeah, well, I always grew up with Kelpies with my dad. He always loved his Kelpies, and they're obviously really obedient, which is really helpful when it comes to training and that. But other than that, I don't really have like a specific breed that I like. It just all depends on how you bring them up, really. Because
it does look like you've got some of like the bull mastiffs or bull Arabs or something in the mix every once in a while.
Yeah, at the moment I've got a younger pup, and she's like a neon mastiff Great Dane bull Arab, so she's a bit of everything. Yeah,
she's gonna be a big pup.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so, like, was it your dad that kind of got you into the dogging, or did you?
Yeah, it was dad for sure. Yeah.
And like, how did he kind of introduce you to it? He was out doing it anyway, so he just brought you along.
Yeah, well, in the early days, like when I was from basically when I was born to all through my childhood, he used the dogs a lot to catch the pigs for the chiller boxes.
Got you.
As well as shoot them. Yeah.
Yeah. So he would go out of a night time, kind of spend the whole night out shooting, and then if he wasn't getting many pigs, he'd just get the dogs out. Yeah, usually he would have the dogs hunting off the back, and then he would have a spotlight through the roof, and whatever pigs he couldn't see, the dogs would usually pick up off the back through the wind in the scent, and they'll jump off and go run into the scrub and find them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so is that still your kind of, I guess, game plan now? You just drive until the dogs pick up scent more so? Yeah, that's it. And obviously if I see them, I'll seal the dogs onto them and that. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff you're doing for the pigging or the dogging stuff, is that all nighttime stuff, or you do day stuff as well?
I do a lot of nighttime stuff, but daytime stuff I still definitely do that, especially in the middle of winter time down in New South Wales where I am now.
Yeah, but then and so I mean, obviously you're not only going after the pigs with just the dogs as well. You do still go after them with the bow and stuff as well. Hey.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Is it kind of for you? Would you go and target species, or you just kind of go out and finding big animals? That's what you're searching for when you go hunting with the bow.
Yeah, when I'm with the bow, usually, especially like this time of year, I'll target mainly boars, like pigs.
Yep.
Just because they're so much easier to find during the daylight hours, and it's just like, and they're so fun to hunt, especially the big mature mountain boars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so,
sorry, you go.
Oh, I was going to say, so the big mountain boars, like I don't really know. Oh, I've been to Canberra and been around Canberra and stuff. Like you're kind of getting out in the hills a lot for them then?
Yeah.
And so the property you have access to has got a range of, well, pretty much ranges, right? It's got mountains and ranges in there.
Yeah, it's got it's like a lot of, there's open stuff and there's like thick gullies with tea tree and blackberry. It's got a bit of everything really.
Yeah, and so you've literally got, like, what do you have access to animal-wise, critter-wise?
On the property that I go to at the moment, it's got a handful of pigs, a lot of fallow deer, and a few goats come through every now and again. Then there's like this small game like rabbits and foxes.
Yeah, and how much do you chase the smaller game?
Well, not really the rabbits because I seem to always lose arrows and break arrows with them. But if I see a fox, I definitely try and call him. You know, I love fox hunting.
Yeah, and so you wait you wait until you see him before you do the whistling.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
And do you have a whistle of choice that you use?
Yeah, I usually just use my hand, suck on my hand and makes a squeak, loud pitch squeaking noise. Yeah.
Yeah, I found, like, it's funny. I've done a mixture of both, and I've always found that one just works a treat on the foxes. Like, they come in running hard. Hey?
Yeah, they do.
It must be something to do with the rabbits, I reckon. Like, the rabbits, when they go down, must sound something similar to that.
Yeah, I think that's what it is for sure.
Especially if it's a pretty dense rabbit population around there. Like, they just seem to come in hard and fast. Yeah,
they click onto it straight away.
And so, I mean, the fallow that you got down this year, like you got 2 fallows down over the rut, didn't you?
I got another buck as well. I just didn't post that one.
Yeah, and so, I mean, they're reputable bucks, right? Like, they're good boys.
Oh, yeah. They were bloody crackers, especially one of them. He was, like, probably once in a lifetime sort of animal.
Dude, definitely. Like, he's got, like, moose antlers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Big old paddles. So, tell us about that. What did you have much of a pre-lead into this stuff, or were you just kind of lucky on the day and they rocked up?
Yeah, well, there's a section of the property where I usually drive through and before I start hunting.
Yep.
And early one morning I was coming through there, and in the headlights, like, a buck ran across, and I could see that it was a decent buck, and I just kept going up to the spot where I usually hunt. And one afternoon after work, I was like, I'll go to this spot. I've seen a few scrapes there. I've seen that buck. I'll go for a walk through the area and try and find some scrape lines and stuff like that. And I had a set of rattles with me.
Yeah.
So I set up I found this area just loaded with scrapes. He's been tearing the trees apart. And set up, got the wind right sort of from where I thought he would come through. And started rattling. Then sure enough, about a minute and a half into the rattling, I could hear something come charging through the tea tree in front of me. And then I could see he was struggling to get through the tea tree with his antlers. And then he popped out at about 20 meters, and I stopped rattling by this stage, and I drew my bow back.
Yep.
And then by the time he stopped, he would have been closer, around about 10 meters, and I just let one fly straight down the center of his chest, and he only ran probably 30, 40 meters.
Far out. And so where were you aiming when you took your front shot?
Just probably about...
Just where he changed his colour pretty much?
Yeah, about 20 centimeters from the bottom of his chest, just above the brisket.
Yep.
Yeah.
And have you taken front shots before? Or this is the first one?
Yeah, it's one of I like the shot, especially on deer and goats. I've had a lot of success with that shot.
Yeah, wow. It's funny because you hear a lot of people who are very scared to take that shot, right? Like broadside or nothing.
Yeah, that's it. But a lot of my shots seem to be, I like to keep it within 25 meters.
Yeah,
I'm not much of a long range shooter. I sort of pride myself on sneaking in, getting in close, or calling them in. Yeah.
And so what sort of setup do you have? Like what weight arrows and what broadheads and stuff are you following or are you using at the moment?
I use Kyoga broadheads at the moment with a 125 grain head.
Yeah.
And then I've got my arrow length's it's 28 inches from tip to tip.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what weight it is, but whatever it is, it
300 or
works.
250 spine?
250s.
Yeah, okay. And then
Yes.
do you use wraps or just veins?
Just veins.
Yeah. So you'd be up at like 500s.
Yeah,
I'd
roughly
say.
about that.
Yeah. And then what poundage is your bow?
70 pounds.
Yeah. So you've got a fair bit of power going through them.
Yeah, that's it.
And so do you ever keep any of the meat from these animals?
Yeah, I do. I like to keep the deer meat and that. I always try and cook up a bit of pork in that as well.
Yeah.
And I love to eat like the goat back straps.
Yeah, okay.
Marinate them. They go well, yeah.
How do you do them? Because I had goat backstrap once, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it like a barbecue style, and just did it like the old tomahawk, and it just tasted like how goat smells, and it just put me off too much, and I didn't do much to it. I just put salt and pepper. So give us your tricks. What do you do to make it taste good?
I'm not much of a cook myself, but with the goat, I just get basically whatever's in the cupboard and I'll chuck it into like a bowl.
Yeah.
And I'll marinate it for a couple of days. Yeah. And it just sort of like soaks all the goodness in there, and like whatever is in the meat, just sort of like seems to go out of it and just puts good flavors into it.
Yeah, okay.
And it comes out really tender when you cook it too.
All about the actual time you put in it.
Yeah.
And are you using a thermometer or anything like that to gauge when it's ready, or you just cook until you think you're ready?
Yeah, basically cook until I think I'm ready.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like time is the biggest thing there.
Yeah, that's
with them suckers. Okay, because I've done plenty of like goat curries and stuff like that, and they're absolutely beautiful. But I just kind of thought, you know what, I may as well see how it goes, and it didn't work out well. I don't think I did it on the barbecue either, so it didn't have like the open flame grill, so it just didn't taste great. So how far down there, like, did the arrow pop out the other side of that guy when you took your shot on the front?
Well, it's penetrated nearly all the way through, and then got caught up on his hip, so it's got full length penetration. Yeah.
And did you cut him open to see what damage had been done?
Yeah, I did, and then I didn't look at the lungs or anything, but it's done some damage. Like, there was when I cut him open, because he didn't bleed much from didn't bleed out, but there was blood all congealed up, like in his chest cavity and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, far out. And so, like, with these guys, like the two that you got this year, they're actually ridiculous. Like, I'm just looking at the one you're talking about now, and his paddles are just huge. What are you planning to do? Are you going to get him mounted or anything like that, or just do a big Euro or something? Yeah,
I just bumped him out, and I've just like boiled the skull and cleaned all the meat out of it and bleached it. That's all I did.
Yeah. How wide is the span of his, like, from outside to outside of his antlers, do you reckon?
I haven't measured it, but I know, like, after I cleaned him, like, if I put his his nose on the ground and sat his antlers like facing up, they come up to about my waist. They're about bit more than a shoulder width apart.
Yeah, wow. So how tall are you? Just to give reference on that.
Oh, I'm about I'm 1.80 centimeters.
Yeah, wow. So far out, so it's like 90 centimeters to the top there, roughly.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, that's impressive. Yeah, they and I think realistically, like I said, you're out in the bush a lot.
Yeah.
Which I want to dive into a bit more. Like, tell us what's kind of your game plan when you get out in the bush. What are you looking for? What's your approach to go out hunting?
Yeah, well, down the mountains, especially it's got a lot to do with the weather. Mm-hmm. If it's going to be a cold day, I won't even bother getting up too early. If it's going to be like a frost, I'll just go out there. If it's going to be foggy, I'll get out there before the fog lifts and get up on a hill. And then once the fog lifts, I sort of like to glass over as much country as I can. Mm-hmm. And usually you catch like the animals coming out to get a bit of sun to warm up from the cold night. And then I just usually go from there. If I can't see anything, I'll just walk sort of like area where I've had good luck before. Yeah. And just stuff like that, And check water sources or...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to, like, I've seen some of your videos previously, like some of your stories where you guys will jump on your bikes and you'll literally, I don't know how big the property is you've been on, but you'll ride for ages, and then you'll go camp out and then do your hunting like day after day sort of thing. Is that just more so for the adventure, or is that just because the property is so big?
It's always a good adventure when you can just go out and just sleep on the dirt, basically with a like a sleeping bag or something. It's always pretty cool to look back on as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And so the goats that I've hunted previously are always just kind of, they keep in their mobs. Is that the same for the guys that are on your property?
Yeah, they always sort of come through in groups.
Yeah. And so you pretty much just find out which way they're going, go set up and wait off for them?
Yeah, with the goats, I usually, they come and go on this property. Like, for a few months, they won't show up, then they'll just show up all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And then usually, I'll either hear them down the gully, like bleeding out, like you can hear them making their noises, whatever they do. Yeah, and I'll usually go down, suss it out, or if I can see them across hill, I'll look over them with the binoculars and see if there's anything worth shooting in there.
Yeah. Tell me about, like, if you're up on the hills and bits and pieces, like where I am, it's a fair bit of ridge country, like a fair bit of mountainous country that the wind just swirls all the time, and like you'll go from one side to the other side of the mountain and it'll be completely different. Is that the same that you're dealing with? Yeah,
it happens a lot with me too,
Yeah, and so
always have trouble with it.
Obviously, there's nothing you could do to kind of counter that. But just give us a bit of a rundown of some of the experiences where you've gone out and it's not worked out because of the wind. Like how close you've been when the wind's just kind of just swelled in that last moment.
Yeah, well, one time I took my mate out hunting. We were walking. It was cold as all day. Barely got above 4 degrees, and we seen heaps of pigs that day. We would have seen probably like roughly 35, and we didn't see any shooter boars all day until right at the last light, and we were coming up from the bottom of this gully up to the tops, and it was all open all the way up, and then either side of us was like timber country.
Yep.
And there was a mob of pigs. There would have been about 5 to 8 of them, and there was a lone boar off the mob, and at where we were at the time, the wind was coming straight down to us from them. So we've sort of charged up the gully as quick as we could so the wind didn't change. And by the time we got within about 80 metres of them, the wind just swirled straight back up our arse and straight to them. And then they got wind of us and took off.
Yeah, far out.
Yeah.
So frustrating, hey?
Oh, yeah. And there was a cracker boar in that mob too. The wind actually got me before with the same boar. I seen him one morning it was with a mob of sows, and I'd spotted him across the ridge, and I made my way. It took about 20 minutes to get around to where he was, and I found the sows that he was with, but he wasn't with them when I got there.
Yeah.
And I sort of thought, where could he be? Like, has he like left them, or has he went and bedded up? And so I went down to where I thought he might be, down the hill a bit, and sure enough, he was bedded up in the sun. And I got to about 25 metres off him, waiting for him to stand, and so I could get a shot. And I was standing off him for only about 5 minutes, and then he stood up, and he sort of started to walk up the hill, and he would have only needed to take 2 or 3 more steps, and it would have been like game over for him. He was perfectly broadside, and I just needed that couple more steps to take the shot. And then the wind, I just felt a slight breeze on the back of my neck, and then he's lifted his nose and trotted off, and I sat on the hill probably for half an hour, just sort of holding my hands on my head, and I was like, oh man, I was a mountain boar and a half there.
Yeah. And so you haven't come back across him again since?
Nah, I haven't seen him since.
Bugger. And so with those mountain boars, like, what's their kind of, do they stay up high the whole time, or do they come down to the bottoms where, like, I don't know, what's their deal? Because you obviously hear about mountain boars. What's the goal?
Yeah. Well, I find it's got to do with the seasons. Like in wintertime, you'll see a lot of them, but through the summer, like this last summer, I've barely seen a pig on this property. Like you see a pig here and there, especially at night time, but in winter, the pigs just come out. Yeah. And when they are out, like they're down the bottom, they're up the tops, like the boars seem to be traveling a lot, and because the sows seem to come on season a lot this time of year.
Yeah, okay.
And like you just sort of like cover as much ground as you can, because the boars they won't stay in one area. You'll see one boar down one end of the property one day, and then the next weekend he'll be up the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've only come across 2 really good, decent boars, and one we like literally were 3 meters apart from each other and just kind of saw eye to eye. I was walking through a creek, and the other guy, I bumped him out of his bed, and he knew we were there, but he was just kind of like walking around, not really sure, and he eventually came out from underneath this log. But stupidly, I didn't range find it all and just overshot him. So I just shot like straight over his back. I was so disappointed. It was kind of like the pig of the trip, and we got down a fair few pigs that weekend. But he was like the one that got away. You know that story.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I mean, when you go out, like obviously some of the boars you're pulling up with your dogs are huge. Like, what's the biggest boar you've knocked over?
The biggest pig that I've ever caught was in the Gulf of Carpentaria in Queensland.
Yeah.
He was 133 kilos live weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a monster.
And so a lot of the pigs, like I saw on the weekend, you were out and you guys, you're jacking the pigs up onto onto your utes afterwards.
Yeah.
Are you doing that with a pulley system or something?
No, I had a few of my mates with me, so we just sort of like,
get on it.
a couple of us grabbed it down low and one of us up on top and sort of just lifted it up all together.
Yeah, and then was that an eater or what was the go there?
We brought them 2 pigs home and we cut them up, took all the meat off them for dog food.
For dogs, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what kind of makes you decide whether you're going to eat a pig or not, or give it to the dogs?
Well, usually, every time I go out on the weekends around here, usually I just take a leg home for a dog each.
Yeah.
And if the pig's skinny or something, looks like something might be wrong with it, I usually won't feed it to them. But other than that, I've never had troubles with the dogs getting sick or anything. So if it's healthy, cut a chunk of meat off for them, they love it, eh?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And then do you ever eat them yourself?
Every now and again I do, but not as often as I probably could.
Yeah.
Usually the dogs just give it to the dogs and that. And a lot of my mates also take pig meat for their dogs as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're getting out, like, are you still getting out most weekends, or now that you're getting a little bit older and work and stuff has come into play, is that taking a bit of a toll, or what?
At the moment, I haven't been able to get out as much because I've been working flat out. And this weekend, I'm actually going to Darwin, going to a big property up there to go for a few months. So that's going to be interesting.
For a few months?
Yeah.
What do you do for work?
On the daily. Well, at the moment, I'm a powder coater.
Yeah.
But I'm going up there to do some mustering.
Oh, that's sick. And so what, you'll pretty much be on it daily?
Yeah.
And so what's your game plan? Because obviously you can't... Are you taking your dogs up, or are you going to drive up? Oh, no, just lost you. Hang fire, peeps. Either his phone's died...
You there, mate?
Yeah, got you back. Okay, cool.
Sorry, mate. I had another call coming through.
It's all good. So, yeah, tell us, what happened? Like, are you driving up with your dogs, or are you just going to fly up?
Yeah, mate, I'm taking all my dogs up. I'm driving up there. Got to pick a trailer and a quad up on the way, but I'm taking my dogs in my boat for sure.
Dude, that's sick. And so, like, it's just a big station that you kind of be mustering on most days?
Yeah, it's meant to be unreal, too. We've got, like, floodplains and heaps of good barra fishing too, so there'll be plenty of action to be had.
Man, that's crazy. And so obviously mustering's not easy work. You're going to be out most of the day, like morning to night sort of thing. Get that call coming through again. You back?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
All good. You're a popular fella, hey? So, yeah, just saying, mustering's obviously like a morning to night type job.
Yeah, it is, definitely,
So what's the go for that? Like, do you pretty much just get your weekends off and that's when you'll get out and about?
Yeah, that's what will be happening. Well, this place that we're going to, it's estimated only take about 25 to 30 days to muster, so we'll be going flat stick for the 25 days and just till we get it done.
Yep. Far out. And so with that, like on the 30 days of
and then after that, Go on. Yeah.
Must be a bit of lag.
Sorry, what was that?
I was just saying with the 25 to 30 days of mustering.
Yep.
Is it pretty much during that time no hunting?
Well, I'm sure I'll be able to get out in the afternoons and that at night time with the dogs, I'm sure I'll be going out for a hunt, no doubt about it.
Yeah. And so your dogs, are they any good at mustering as well, or they don't touch that stuff?
Well, I've never really trained them to, but my dad used to train his kelpies. Like, he used to do a bit of mustering with them as well as hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to try it, or you just?
I might. I'll see how it goes. If we need them, I'll see if they can see if they're any good at it.
Yeah.
But I've never really trained dogs to muster, so if I've got someone there to help me sort of teach me how to train them to muster, I'll give it a go for sure.
And so is this the first time you've ever gone out mustering?
No, I sort of spent a few years on the station up in Queensland. I was doing mustering as a young fella up there and that, so I've done a bit of yard work and mustering stationing work before.
Yeah, and so when you're going up this time, is it all done by like bikes and cars and Polarises and shit, or are you going out on horseback?
Yeah, well, there's going to be a couple of blokes on horses and a few on quad bikes and then chopper in there.
Yeah, okay, far out.
Yeah.
And so how big's this actual station?
It's meant to be around about 1 million acres.
Far out. It's so hard to fathom,
big playground.
right? Yeah, definitely.
It's unreal.
Do they talk about like how long it takes to get from side to side of the farm property?
Yeah.
I should say?
I'm not sure how long it will take on this place, but I know the place that I was on, it was just 2.4 million acres that place was.
Far out.
And it had a pretty good main dirt road going from one end to the other. It took a couple of hours though, 3 hours.
Yeah, wow.
And like that wasn't even the full length of the place.
It's bizarre. It's like bigger than Tasmania probably, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's sick. That's cool. And so what's kind of your game plan when you get up there? Just suss it out and see how big's the team you're going in and joining in with?
There's meant to be about 10 blokes up there.
Yeah, and you haven't met any of them before?
Yeah, one of them's a good mate of mine. He's actually from Canberra originally. He's been up in the territory for a few years now, and he gave me a call, and he said that he needs to get a mushroom team together, and I was already heading up that way, so it worked out well.
So that's cool. What were you going up for? Just the sake of it? Try and find work?
Yeah, I just got my P's and been working for a while, and I was going to go up, sort of do a bit of door knocking, see if I can get onto some properties and do some work and that.
Yeah.
Just get the experience.
It just kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Do you find when you get to a new station like that and you're doing some mustering that the property owners are kind of against the hunting ever?
Yeah, a lot of the times they can be, especially if you like door knocking. They just tell you to get stuff straight away. But if they get to know you, like if you're not a bad bloke and you like do the right thing, like they usually don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Something that a lot of the farms that I've gone to, at least, or properties I've gone to, they've often got like a kill pile or something like that. Is that something they ask you to do? Like once you've knocked over the pigs, to get them back and put them on the kill pile at least?
I haven't really had that, but I know one of the places that I used to go to, like they did have a kill pile, but I never really had to take them back there or anything.
Yeah, okay. One of the properties I go to now, they get paid for the snouts. And so they at least ask for that, and that's like kind of the least you can do for them, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you have anything up there, like Northern Territory. I don't know if they've got anything like that in place.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They might have something for the dingoes. I know in Queensland they did, because like dingoes are bad. Yeah,
further north you go, there's like a pretty big bounty on them, right?
Yeah, up to $100 per dingo.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I think it's whereabouts were you up north, like the Cape? You said.
Yeah, just below the Cape there, Gulf of Carpentaria. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty similar down in Springshore. It's where some of my family are. They were getting, I think, $100 as well at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still the case for them or not, but, yeah, it's pretty good little bounty, I guess.
Yeah.
And so going back to more so your hunting, like with the bow, when you're getting out, what have you found with most of the animals? Like, obviously with deer, you have to be a bit more quiet, a bit more petite about what you're doing. What's your game plan? Like, once you kind of find a deer, what's the thoughts? You pretty much just making sure winds are right and then you're sneaking to them, or are you trying to ambush them and set up somewhere?
Yeah, with the deer, like, if I can get in the ambush, like, I'll definitely go for the ambush instead of a stalk, because, like, they're just so onto it. Like, any they pick up on any movement, they'll just, like, sort of look at you and then they'll pick you out straight away, even if you're wearing camo and they're just onto you.
Yeah.
So if I can get an ambush, I'll definitely take it. But other than that, if there's a bit of background movement, like as in trees moving from the wind and stuff, there's a bit of like sound covering your sound, I'll definitely try and work out a stalk.
Yeah, definitely. And then how about like your pigs and stuff, especially your mountain boars? Do you find like, because they're pretty onto it, right? The big mountain boars, you have to be pretty quiet and careful.
Yeah, they're pretty switched on. Yeah.
Are they pretty sound sensitive or not really?
Yeah, they're quite sound sensitive, not as much as the deer.
Yeah.
But like they're a lot more onto it than like say your younger pigs, like your younger boars or sows. But I definitely don't have as much trouble with them as a deer.
Man, it's quite bizarre. Like you can literally, I've walked up on pigs before and not had any like problems at all. But I've heard that a lot about the mountain boars. Yeah.
Like sometimes if they're in a mob and like they're all feeding around in the grass or something, making a bit of noise, you can all but just crouch down and walk in on them, like just making sort of light footsteps, and they won't notice you, just because like your sound's covered with their sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And then obviously things like goats and foxes. Foxes, you're always just calling in.
Yeah, usually, but like as I said before, usually with the foxes, like if I see one, I'll get in a position, sit in front of a tree or a bush, and then I'll call them in.
Do you try to get yourself in shade?
Yeah, in shades definitely helps, so you don't, like, your skin's not reflecting or whatever clothes you're wearing doesn't really stand out or shine.
Yeah.
And always, like, it's always good to have a background, so you sort of like sunken into the tree, so they can't see your outline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's sick, dude. And so you obviously go out with a lot of your mates. Do you get a fair few of your friends into bow hunting?
Yeah, a few of my mates got into bow hunting, but I think a lot of them, they don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, yeah.
But they all love coming out hunting with me. They love going out with the dogs and that. They always have a ball.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
Yeah.
And so when you're taking your mates out bow hunting, what are kind of like, what's the little rundown you give them before you get them started?
Well, usually I tell them just be as quiet as possible, and whenever I stop, you stop. Just do what I say, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting going out with someone like hunting for the first time if you haven't gone out with them before. It's almost like you've got to figure out those little things together. Like, okay,
yeah, it is.
Especially if you've got two people who kind of know what's going on, but they've got their own agendas. Like, you need to kind of really unify and go together, don't you?
Yeah, it's good. I love going out with other hunters because you get to learn stuff off them that you haven't learned, and you can teach them things that you've learned that they don't know. It's good.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Yeah.
And so is your dad ever into bow hunting?
No, he's never been into it, but I know when we were living up north, he came out for hunt with me, and I got him onto a few pigs. He loved it.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so he's not kind of, I guess, empowered enough to go and do it himself now?
Nah.
No, wouldn't pick it up, hey?
Nah.
He's probably had too many years of seeing how easy it is with the gun, right?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. So obviously you've got this trip up north. What are kind of the future endeavours for you?
Well, I know there's buffalo up there. I've definitely got one of them on the hit list, so that'll be pretty cool. And then other than that, I'll just go up there and bloody go with the flow, get into some Barra and some big floodplain boars.
Yeah, dude, that's incredible. So with the have you actually teed up something for your buff yet?
Well, I'm just going to go up there, talk to the property owner and that, and see how it go. If they let me shoot the buffalo even, because sometimes I know they muster the buffalo up and sell them off as well.
Yeah.
So I'll just see how I'll go with that first, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, wow, man. And so with the buff, do you know how much they get for those when they like muster them up? Like I think a goat's about 240 to 270.
Yeah, there's some good money in goats, but I wouldn't have a clue with the buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. And then when they muster them up, are they just put them in the yards? Or are they doing, like, have they got those cars with the old head pincers in them?
Yeah, I think they've got a bit of that going up there, but I haven't been to this place where I'm going, so it'll be all new to me over in the territory.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Yeah. So your mate, is he there already, or he's just joining you there?
Yeah, he's there already, yeah.
Okay, so he just hasn't given you much of the insights yet?
No.
You got a lot to find out. That's sick, dude.
Yeah, it'll be good, yeah.
That's cool, man. And so, like, I think probably the best thing to do, because I got to move on here for a sec, or in a sec, but one of the best things I think for people to follow along, you can jump across. It's Kody with a K .Mackay. That's your Instagram page, and realistically, you put up a lot of stories, dude. Like you're out and about a lot. And I think that really shows why you have so much success. Like that time in the bush, it's just so valuable, right? For learning critters, learning where they are. Like you said. Going back to places where you've always been successful before is possible because you know where they are, right? Like, it's just having that time.
That's exactly right.
But I mean, scrolling through your page, literally, the amount of critters you have down is ridiculous.
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky.
I'd say. I don't know if it's lucky. Yeah, exactly. You put the time in. That's the thing there, dude. It's having the time to put into it. And I mean, obviously doing it from such a young age. And how long have you been working for?
I've been working for, I think, 2 years now.
Okay. So previous to that, it was pretty much hunt or nothing sort of thing?
Yeah, school and hunting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff, dude. All right, well, like I said, people can jump across and follow you at Kody Mackay, Kody.Mackay, sorry. But yeah, I'd really recommend jumping in and following along with your stories. They're always good little watch.
Yeah, mate. Cheers.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining me.
All right, mate. Thanks for the talk. See you later.
Dude. See ya. That wraps up this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining us, team. If you did have any topics, questions, or you wanted to suggest a guest for Becoming a Bowhunter, you can send me an email at matty@becomingabowhunter.com. If you're enjoying the show or you've enjoyed in particular episodes, please do me a solid and share it around with your friends. If you are not already, please hit the subscribe button, as the more subscribers we get, the higher the podcast gets ranked, and that definitely helps out for showing it to other individuals. If you are not already following me on Instagram, it's at becomingabowhunter.podcast, and on YouTube, it's Becoming a Bowhunter. Get out, team, fling some arrows, get that practice in, and walk those yards in the paddocks until you find those critters. That is it for now, but not the last time that you'll hear from Becoming a Bowhunter.